welcome to Lessons Learnt. I'm Sherry. This is Monday Quilt Chat. Go get your favorite drink, wrap up in a warm blankie, or if you're in Australia, don't do that. Maybe have some cold tea and a tank top. Anyway, here I am to talk about all the quilty things in my world and in the world of quilting in general. And I'm glad you decided to join me today. We are going to talk about all the normal things we normally talk about on Monday and anything else that comes to mind. Stay throughout the entire video. I'm not going to tell you when, but the giveaway announcements will be made. I did not have the winner of the calendar again, so I'll be drawing again for the 2025 Quilt Art Engagement Calendar from AQS. So we'll have a third choice for that one, and then we'll also have our 20K subscriber milestone giveaway, which was, I don't have it in here now. I took it into the house so that I could wrap it and get it ready to send to whoever the winner is. That was a K-Facet dessert roll, a PMB textile jelly roll, and I think it was, I don't remember, a Benartex layer cake, a full-size RFL thread, and some other goodies thrown in there. So we will be finding out who the winner of that is here in this giveaways, in this video. So stay with me because we've got lots to cover, plus the giveaways. What did I do this weekend? I did the Scrap Stash Buster #1. I did 7 more of those blocks. So I have one giant 4-patch, plus I finished that 4-patch that I only had one of the patches done on Friday. I finished that one with the 3 it needed. So I now have 2 big 4 patches over there. So still working on that. And I wanted to show you what I was doing. If I do this and just stack a bunch of these on top of each other, once I cut my blue squares, this is what I do. I go ahead and pick out my 16 squares and lay them on top, and I just layer those. And then anytime I take a notion to sew one up, or at least be ready for the next day, I've got those all ready to go. So I wanted to show you that. There's always ways you can keep things in motion in your sewing room so that something doesn't become a UFO. So there's that. I did that. So that was 7 of those little blocks. 2 giant 4 patches. I also worked on the Scrap Stash Buster #2, which was the paint chip blocks. I forgot to bring that over here. Let me get that. Okay, so when you saw my peach block, I really tried to make them gradient all the way down. You know, a deep peach, that's almost an orange really, and then down this way. And they turned out really good, all the different colors, you've seen them. But I decided to get a bag out and do some more. So I got that yellow and peach bag out, and I pulled out all the peaches, and I did all the peaches. And you'll notice something a little bit different with these than with that first one. But it's not going to have an impact on the overall look of the quilt. But Kelly commented on the video where I was making these, and she said, "Don't be too uptight about the colors. Just put them all. Just put all the same colors in the paint chip block, and don't worry about the gradients." And so I decided to take her advice, and it was much easier. It was much easier. Plus, I was able to get through all of my peach strips a lot faster and be able to actually use all of them, because the way I was doing it, I wasn't going to be able to use them all, because limiting yourself to a gradient was kind of, well, limiting. It was going to make it to where you know, you'd be ending up with a bunch that just would not do the gradients. So I got the peaches done. So now I'll just probably continue on with that bag and get rid of that bag of peach and yellow. So I'm halfway there. I just need to go get that back out and do the yellow ones next. And I'm anxious to do that. I'm wanting to do that. So very fun projects. Project number 1, number 2. Go back to the last 2 Wednesday videos if you don't know what I'm talking about, because these are scrap busting. Yes, they are scrap busting projects. But as a matter of fact, let me show you my 2.5 inch bin. Okay, so you know, the other day when I was introducing this project, Scrap Buster number 1, my 2.5 inch bin was full. I had no more room, no more capacity. I had hit my boundary. So now I have it down, and I hope I can show you this without dumping it. But I'm going to try to lift it up because I don't want to move camera around. Look. Whoops. This is going to be a little precarious. Look. I have almost an entire row gone with the blocks that I've done already. So it is a scrap buster, that number 1 is, if you've got 2.5 inch squares of all kinds. And don't worry too much either about coordinating those if you're just using everything like I am. I kinda sorta put them in like dart, but when I put my blocks together, you know, those are gonna run into each other. So it doesn't matter. The quilt looks great. So that's that. And then what else did I do? I got something in motion that has not been in motion for a while. And I'm going to talk about this just a little bit. This is the block that I did. And this is Harriet's Journey. Now, some of you are so new, you don't know what I'm talking about unless you've done this quilt. Harriet's Journey. This is a 100 block sampler quilt by Jennifer Chiavarini. She's also an author, not just to a quilt design book, but to like quilt novels. Elm Creek Quilts is who she's with, and this is by C&T Publishing, so I'm assuming you can still get this in quilt stores or online. Harriet's Journey from Elm Creek Quilts. And so this is how many I have done. I didn't count them. I think there's about 20 here. So I'm not even half done with this quilt. And what I'm doing, when I started this, I had never done foundation paper piecing, and I had done very little applique. Well, there's quite a few blocks that are that. So when I started this, I just started with the simple pieced ones. And so I'm just about through all the simple pieced ones. I think I'm just going to keep going with that because I've almost got just the simple pieced ones done, and then go into the foundation paper pieced and applique ones from here. So maybe, just maybe, if I do another one of these blocks this week, I might spread these out on the design wall so you can see it all and know a little bit better about what this project is. But very cute project. I'm anxious to start on it again. I mean, I started on it again. I was anxious. Now I've actually done it. So it feels good. It really does to feel good to get something old out and give it life again. Breathe life back into it. Okay, and then I also did some prep for Wednesday's video. I did some video clips, but I'm saving those for the video. But for the Scrap Stash Buster number 3, we're going to pull out from our stashes this time, not scraps. From our stashes, you're going to need 1 layer cake at least, and then of a line of fabric, and then another layer cake that is solid or that reads solid. I didn't have that. I have 1 layer cake that is solids, but it's a range of solids, and you really need the same or somewhat the same blender for that. It could be a blender, it could be a super low volume, but something that's going to contrast with your layer cake. So go look at your layer cakes, find one, and then you're going to need 2.5 yards of the other fabric that I just mentioned, and you'll cut it down into 10-inch pieces. So you'll need 2.5 yards. It takes 32 layer cake squares. Now if you have scraps that are cut into 10-inch, you could pull from your scraps and do that. I probably should do that, but I've already cut my layer cake. That's okay. I'll talk about that in the video a little bit more. But a layer cake, or 32 10-inch squares, and then 32 10-inch solid squares, or, you know, like a cream white. It could even be dark, I think. I don't know if I'd do dark. It depends on the layer cake. There again, I'll talk about that on Wednesday. So this is another little quilt you can get done really, really quick. You don't need any money to buy a pattern, so it goes really good for no buy January. I made a small project. I can't believe it. Where is it? Here it is. I made a project bag. Let me get this out of here so you can see it. So in the Sew Sampler box of this month, we got this June Taylor kit, and it was a it's called Quilt As You Go kit with Zippity Doo Done zipper. So 14-inch project bag, and I used the fat quarters that were in the box because that's what they did on here, and I wasn't going to use them for that little quilt that they had the pattern in there for, so I just went ahead and made up the bag. So it has like plastic, clear plastic, vinyl, and then there's your zipper. You can stick your project down in there. Now, these aren't that great for quilt projects. They're okay for small blocks, maybe, like the Harriet's Journey blocks. I could probably put those down in there if I wanted to use a project bag. But this zipper was in the kit, and it is pretty cool. It's called a Zippity Doo Done zipper, and it's like open double folded bias tape. So all you have to do is open that and stick this part down in it, and then this part up in the bottom, and sew it down. So it's a good little distance away from the zipper, so it's a good way to, you know, kind of learn how to do zippers. You don't even need a zipper foot for it because there's so much room there. Alright, and it has a video. So, Zippity Doo Done zipper. Highly recommend. I need to look those up. I might want to buy some and do some more projects like this. But I did that. So, that was a nice little Saturday afternoon project. And it didn't really have batting with it. It was something more of like a stabilizer. So you did do your Quilt As You Go with using that. And then also on the inside, I don't know if you can see that, but they wanted you to, looks like I have a thread. They want you to kind of do some mock quilting on there just to kind of, you know, because you have it on the back, just to make it cute. But I guess you could put also a little charm here. I have some charms I've never ever used because I don't do these small projects. So it was fun. It was easy too. What else? I did prep for the sparrows. Let me show you that. I don't really know how much I'm going to be able to show you of this, but I organized all my fabric. Now the sparrows, this is by Pen and Paper Patterns. Really cute sparrow pattern. Everybody's seen it. This is a very popular pattern. Now I am using my leftover folk and lore for this, and it's prints. So I had to I probably spent about an hour sorting through all my leftover prints that I had, and I do have quite a bit, to get the bodies and the little chest part of the bird and the head just to kind of coordinate that out, because the way you do the solid ones, you just kind of rotate those fabrics all through the birds. But what I'm going to have to do is decide what grouping of fabrics do I want for the body, for the front of the bird, and for the head of the bird. So what I did is I marked, like for example, these are pieces G and H. And then from this grouping, I have A, but there's a whole bunch that, like, this is going to be my prints that I'm going to use for my bodies of the birds. And it's quite varied, but that's what I had to do. I had to just kind of sort through and see how is this going to go together. This part, this is B, C, D, and E, and it's not just this one. This is like the heads of my birds. So these are like light blues, the lesser volume, I guess you could say, of it. And then F, piece F, is the fronts, like the little robin redbreast area, although it's a sparrow. These are my F's, and it's going to be more like the peaches and the burnt orange, the real deep oranges there, and rust. That's what I'm going to use for piece F. And then J is the eyes. Won't that make a cute eye? And then I is the little chirpy. I think this is what I decided to use for the little, what did I do with the pattern? It's here somewhere. Anyway, there's these little half square triangles that represents the bird chirping. I'm using a light background. It's a grunge. Whereas the pattern, what did I do with the pattern? Anyway, I can't find the pattern. It's here. It's like right here somewhere. Anyway, this is all of the background that I'm using. The pattern uses a dark background, a darker type of color. So I kind of had to change my little chirpy half square triangles to something dark. So I have everything ready to cut. So that took a while. I told you it was here. I knew it was in a stack somewhere. So anyway, see how they have a dark background? Mine's going to be more of a light sandy background because I have all those yummy colors in the birds. And this is the little chirpy part that I'm talking about. I think this represents the song of the bird. I don't know. What do they call that piece? Is that what it was? I call them chirps. I want to see if there's a name. Give me a second. No, they're just calling them HSTs. But I think that's what that represents, don't you? It's a little song of the bird coming out. Anyway, I'm really excited to get started on that now that I've figured that part out. That was the hardest part. Figuring out how am I going to take all these prints for a pattern that uses solids and make it work. I've seen people's online where they've done it, and I want to look like that. I want it to look like that. So anyway, the moral of the story is I did a bunch of stuff this weekend, and it was all so much fun. So let's talk about that. Hashtag Quilt Health. Now, I told you that I wasn't going to talk about this every week, but I just hit every one of them this week, I feel like. Mostly. There was one that wasn't, well, maybe. We'll talk about it. Recent acquisitions, I have none. So we're going to talk about our quilt health and how it is. I hope you can kind of feel yourself out too while I talk about this and see how you're doing. It's still no by January, so that plays into it quite a bit. Number one was physical health. Physical health is, I did one thing towards my physical health this past week, and that is I did not buy sugar-free Reese candy this week. And you might say, well, sugar-free, that's okay. You can have that, right? Well, there's calories in that. and I love them. I actually love those sugar-free. They're little, the little miniature Reese cups. Little, they're a little chunk. They're a nice little chunk to have in your mouth. But I usually eat about 3 at a time because that's a serving according to the back of the bag. And so I cut those out because they still have calories in them. And eating a lot of sugar-free stuff is not really good for dieting anyway. I'm not giving up Coke Zero. I'm sorry. There's 0 calories in that. And that's my only saving grace at this time. Maybe by the end of this year, I can feel okay with not having Coke Zero anymore. But for the moment, I'm keeping that. But a lot of sugar-free stuff still has calories in it. So I cut that out. So I'm going to say I did pretty good on hashtag quilt health #1, physical health. Spending, I did not spend anything on anything sewing related or fabric. I bought 4 tops and or sweaters to finish out the winter time because they were on huge sale. I got 4 of them for less than $60 from an online store. And I put another $100 in my savings account. Why? Because it was just sitting there because I haven't been buying fabric. So I stashed that away in my savings account. So now I have $300 in my formerly defunct savings account. Self-control. This is how I handled self-control this week. I did not look at any live sales online. No live sales. I did look at some of the sales that were on my email that come in, but I did not buy anything. So there was a couple things I probably would have bought, but it's no by January, and that helped me to not do it. And I don't think that I'm going to suffer any for having not participated in those sales. Boundaries. Okay, well, if you watched Wednesday's video for the Scrap Stash Buster #2, you see that I was going out of my bounds, and I'm still out of my boundaries with those strips. So I did work on that. I got rid of all of my peach strips, and I'm going to continue with that. Got to get that back. I got to be able to shut that lid on that bin. So I'm going to keep going on that project at least until that, and I'll probably continue on it until whenever. Staying in motion, I revived the Harriet's Journey, which I've already talked about. The giving, I'm just going to say I participated in giving with the $20,000 giveaway. We still need to plan and talk about the Humane Society of the United States projects we're going to be doing this year. I talked about that some in my starting the year video, but that's probably the least one that I've had major progress with yet, but we will be getting to that. And then #7, enjoy everything you're doing. There was nothing that I did this weekend that I did not enjoy. And I want to tell you a little thing about my inside life, my other life that I have is Mark and I have decided that we're going to have a chore day on Saturday, and we assign ourselves some chores to do in the house. Now, he did have to deal with a lot of the snow stuff outside, so you know his were a little lighter this past week, but the first week he jumped in and did a really big job for me inside, which I appreciated very much. But he had a little bit lighter job this time, and I did a little bit bigger job this time. So even doing that, even though nobody likes to clean, I went into my bathroom that's off of the main bedroom, the master suite, if you will, and I totally decluttered the vanity. And now I'm talking about I always keep the top pretty much cleaned off. I don't like a lot of clutter, but you know, sometimes out of sight, out of mind. And if I have stuff stuffed around in cabinets and drawers, it niggles at me. So I did that, and then I cleaned the entire bathroom, and I did some super deep cleaning on the tile floor with the grout, and it looks so good. I'm so happy with myself. It was hard work, but I enjoyed it because the result was so great. I loved it so much. Even those tasks you can use to improve your quilt health. Because if your state of mind is better with the state of your house, your quilt health is going to be better, because you're going to have more time to quilt. And you're not going to feel guilty about spending all your time quilting. Alright, that's that. And like I said, I won't do this every week, because not every week will I hit all of those. But the year has started off good for me. And my hashtag quilt health. Alright, the art quilt of the week. Let's get to that. It's so cute. I'm going to put a picture right here. And it's called Penguin Playground. Look at those penguins. They're swimming and they're on shore. And then there's some fish in there too. So cute. It's 39 by 31, so not too big. And this is by Cindy Bell Neville of St. Louis, Missouri. It says here, a trip to Antarctica is what inspired this particular quilt. On one of their outings, they saw a bunch of penguins playing on an iceberg. Not hunting, but definitely playing and having fun. Recreating this memory into fabric provided both fun, quilting to emphasize the texture, and a bit of a challenge, redrafting the design 4 times. Cindy's seen the quilt go to several shows, including AQS Quilt Week Paducah, Road to California, Mid-Atlantic Quilt Festival, and International Quilt Festival. So this little quilt has traveled to all the AQS shows. Pretty cool. And I just love this. This is just so cute. And it kind of reminds me of my little Shark Week quilt that I did last year during Shark Week, which I think is in February, isn't it? I can't remember. I need to quilt that. That's one of my quilts I need to quilt. But these penguins are just adorable. I love all the marine life colors that's in it, and the quilting. That quilting is not hard, guys. If you can do some free motion quilting on your domestic sewing machine, this is an easy one to do. Just put a wave through there and just start echoing it at different sizes. And you can even let it cross over a little. And she's also mimicked the design of some of the geometric shapes there in her quilt. So this is super cute. Love it. And you can see I did my journaling, and boy was I busy last week. So we're getting ready to go into a new week. I hope that you have a lot planned. But first we're going to get to those giveaways. The first one is for the Quilt Art engagement calendar for 2025. So I will put that clip in right now. Okay, 3rd time's a charm. Get ready to watch for your name to come up. It's going to go for 7 seconds. Kayleen 16. Kayleen 16. She says, I love your long arm series. I need the basics. I got my Moxie XL right around the same time you did. Okay, Kayleen 16, please send me an email at lessonslearnt2021@gmail.com with your shipping information, and I will get your art calendar out right away, because half of January is gone and you need it. So Kayleen, send me an email. Okay, so now drum roll please. 20K giveaway is here. So a dessert roll, a layer cake, a jelly roll, a full-size RFL thread, and other goodies. here is that little clip of that giveaway right here. Well, your chances are slim at winning this. There were 321 comments. So, get ready. Watch for your name. 7 seconds. Annette Ellis, 4188. Congratulations, Annette. She says, wow, you had a lot of snow, just cold here, 18 degrees. I love watching you, and I have used your video on facing a quilt. And I won second place in our, I can't see the rest of the, congratulations on winning with your faced quilt. That's awesome. All right, let's get back to the video. All right, Annette Ellis, 4188. You have won the 20,000 subscriber giveaway here at Lessons Learnt. So you also must send me an email at lessonslearnt2021@gmail.com with your shipping information so that I can get that package out to you right away. All right. That is so much fun, and I so enjoy giving things away to you guys when I have the opportunity. So these two gals, I hope you enjoy these giveaways that you've won. Hope to hear from you really soon, like right now, please. I don't want to do these again. All right, that's it. We've got our week set. We have our mind set ready to get some things done this week. Keep working on your stash and scrap busting projects, and stay tuned for Wednesday's video on that one as well. We're going to have many more. You don't have to do them all. You don't have to get them done rapidly. Just participate in the ones that interest you and keep them going. Keep them in motion all year long. All right, have a great week, and I will see you back here on Wednesday and then again on Friday to see what I've finished and see what you finished. All right, have a great week. Bye.